Hey guys, hope you had a great Thanksgiving. I'm gonna try this now for the third time. Uh, I'm gonna talk to kind of change course, but I'm gonna talk about something today that a lot of people don't realize and don't know. And unfortunately, the only way you're gonna find out is when it happens to you. And it'll help explain a lot of things to a lot of people. And that's something called qualified immunity. All right. What qualified immunity is this? It is a provision in the law that says you are not allowed to sue state, federal, or government officials in the performance of their duties. Okay? Now, if you do, and if you do sue them, they'll just throw it out. Okay? Now, states have different laws and rules and regs on that and everything else. And while it doesn't protect state and government officials in criminal cases, it really does. And let me tell you why. Let's go to the actual George Floyd case. Now, while those guys were fired and got jail time, let's remember that they, or at least one dude, killed him in the middle of the damn street with a camera on him. Okay? Now, if any Joe Blow had done that to just another guy in the middle of the street and was allowed to capital murder, life without, but no, not for the police. Not for the police. They shoot you dead. They can shoot you dead. I promise you. And whatever minuscule crime that's what they're going to charge them with. And it comes back again to what we're talking about, qualified immunity. All right? Now, as far as George Floyd goes, everybody thinks that lawyer, Crooms or whatever his name is, oh, he sued. He didn't sue nobody. He didn't sue nobody. He went on TV. All right? He went on TV, and all he did was, I guess the best way to put it was to give that city, everybody there, a bad name and a bad rep. So what did they do? Now, they paid a lot of money, but call Crooms' office or wherever and say, did you file a lawsuit that any court ever ruled on? Because he didn't. It never happened. And the reason why is because Crooms is smart enough to know he wasn't going to win a lawsuit because of qualified immunity. And it's really scary, guys, because everybody thinks, well, I might not be able to do it. I mean, if I go complain, they ain't going to do nothing because all they're going to do is just ignore me and whatever and just keep them on the force. I will sue them. No, you won't. No government official. You ain't going to do it. You can, but it's going to cost you. Because there are lawyers that will take federal cases, which is pretty much what I'm talking about, federal cases. But it's not that crap you see on TV about if we don't win your case. They don't work in federal court. They don't work in federal court. There ain't no lawyers out there doing that. You got to pay them. And it's going to be a lot of money. Okay? And chances are you're going to lose because of qualified immunity. Let's put it in perspective. On future incoming idiot and his butt buddies in the Supreme Court, what that ruling was simply taking qualified immunity and what's also called sovereign immunity and even expanded it more. Which means that, well, hell, government, police, people like that, they have no backstops to them. None. And I welcome anybody to say that, prove me wrong. By all means, prove me wrong. I don't care who you are. I don't care what your name is. If you try to sue your city or any government official and it's serious enough to catch their attention, you don't hear about qualified immunity. Guaranteed. Now, if you want to get them, that person unelected or fired, well, great, wonderful for you. Boy, you really feel a lot better about that, don't you? But really, did you hurt them? Did you do anything to them? Always remember, the way you hurt somebody is through the pocketbook, and especially in the case of a city. Anyway, back to qualified immunity, especially in the case of federal lawsuits. Let's say you want to sue over, well, no, there is a case going on right now. I've done 3 of these by myself. We'll get to that later, but they're not hard. I'll tell you exactly how to do it. It's going to cost you a little money, but not as bad as you think. But anyway, a case where a person was taken to the police department, arrested, denied the right to a lawyer, openly denied the right to a lawyer when it was requested, also was forced to make a taped statement. I have the federal case number. I'll give it to you. Just inbox me. And then turned around and after did all of this, no confession, had no evidence, just did it. And then didn't drop the charges for a year later while this person had to go to court, get a lawyer, everything. But the lawyer wasn't going to take the case because they knew that it was the cops, that it was the city. We ain't got to worry about it because they have insurance. Remember that. Every single cop that stops you, it doesn't matter what they do to you. They can drag you out and beat you half to death. Your best and only hope is that you can file criminal charges if your prosecuting attorney or whatever crappy cop-loving law you got over there wants to press charges. That's it. And it's sad. It really is, because it's a killer whenever your civil rights can be violated, and yet all they say is, we're going to sue, you're going to sue, you're going to sue, we're going to sue. No, you're not. You can, but you're going to lose, especially in the case of federal court. Now, they've expanded it so much that they've actually done this. And here's the funny part. Everybody on here probably watches cop shows. SVU, Law and Order, all of them, and everything else. And they make a big deal out of it, especially everybody knows about what's called Miranda. Okay, Miranda is a duty, or it was at one time, and it still is. It was a duty at one time to where you had to have somebody read you your rights to tell you what your rights were if you were going to be arrested, questioned, or anything. Okay? Well, and that was the case since the 1970s when Miranda came in. Well, guess what? And here's the funny part. Miranda is still in place. Okay? But now here's the thing. If you're arrested for whatever, and they don't read you your rights, or they do something and go too long or whatever, but they don't ever read you your rights or nothing like that, then guess what? Yes, you have one legal recourse. One. And that is, you can use that to possibly have your criminal charges dropped or dismissed. Okay? Back. But let's say they violate your Miranda so bad. Let's say they just beat you half to death whenever you're trying to remain silent to make you talk. I'm serious. Let's just say they do that. All right? And then after they get you to talk and they've done beat you half to death, let's say they do this, which they will do this. Let's say they just drop the charges. Okay? So criminal charges are gone. You're beat half to death. You've done had your rights violated. Well, now the Supreme Court says, guess what? Tough luck. You can't sue the cops for it because you can't reclaim monetary damages just because we're not going to give you money. And that's the deal. If it is so freaking ridiculous. In the case of this person I'm talking about, they were denied the right to an attorney. It gets better. However, had somebody on the outside call a lawyer for them. The lawyer called the police department and spoke with the police department. Did that matter? Nope. They still forced an interview, an interrogation out of this person, and they were forced to speak under the threat of physical violence, and they may not get out of jail for 10 days. Now, you might be saying, well, where was the lawyer? Well, it was in a rural community, and the lawyer they had was, 3 hours away. And so it wasn't going to be a deal to where they were going to get there in a hurry. And when they got there, who knows? What were they going to do? That's how impervious. The lawyer's not going to bust in with a gun. Who they going to run to get them out when the cops have them? But the simple situation is this. That person was forced to to just not even be able to say, I want a lawyer. Didn't work. I'm not going to say a word. All of that under threat. And qualified immunity is being used as a reason that it's okay, and so no money can be given. I'll be right back. I'm going to do this in 2 parts, I guess. Give me a second.